Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen. We're live. Get involved in the chat and the comments. In pretty sunny Salford, to be fair. It's absolutely roasting out there, as you would expect. Most of the news this morning is focusing on Carlos Baleba, but there is other news. There's Marcus Rashford news, because, you know, Marcus Rashford is still technically a Manchester United player. Rasmus Hojlund update as well. So Romano's been tweeting about him. So we'll get into all that. Make sure if you're not doing so already, you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I mean, we are turning into the Carlos Baleba channel. I do realise that, but that's what the sort of the big story is at the minute, isn't it? It's like we were speaking to Laurie Whitwell yesterday. We've spoken to other journalists, and the focus at Manchester United seems to be Carlos Baleba. The Donnarumma thing, which I was never into, I always said wasn't going to happen. That's obviously not going to happen now. But Carlos Baleba, it looks like there's something in there, and it looks like it could be moving forward. Sammy Salander says he's here. A beautiful ball day. Good morning, Jay. Thank you. Rock in the chat as well. Joe James John says Baleba News Channel. It does feel a little bit like that. Wayne Davis, good to see you. Santa Noche's here. Rock. I just want the season to start, says Rock. Ready to get on with it. Yeah, I'm kind of there, you know. I feel like it's come around pretty quickly. I don't know it's because of pre-season and everything, but I was like, no way is it like actually the season starting on Sunday for us. I know it's a bit earlier for everyone else, but I'm looking forward to it. I've still got a little bit of nervousness though. Big game in it, Arsenal at home. We'll do a preview later this week, but call me deluded. I think we'll do him. Right, let's talk about Carlos Baleba, because obviously that is the main story. Right, the Standard have got a story here. Manchester United former Carlos Baleba transfer plan after Brian Star confirms career dream. A record fee will be required to land one of Europe's brightest young talents. Manchester United have formulated a plan to sign Carlos Baleba in a record transfer this summer. We all know about all this. It then goes on to say a second bid is expected, and Baleba, the Guardian report, has privately made clear his desire to move to Old Trafford. Now, I'm not so sure about this second bid. We had this in the news the other day, and I think it came from the Standard and one or two others. But this whole idea that United put a bid in, it doesn't seem like there's enough concrete evidence of this. It feels like it was just speculation. It was more sort of based on what could work in terms of offering Brighton money and Toby Collier. And as the day wore on, you think, okay, a couple of papers are running it. More people are going to follow suit. That didn't materialize. So I have some skepticism about the fact we've had an official first bid. I'm not so sure we have, to be brutally honest with you. The mention there, the Guardian have spoken about the transfer plan formulating at United, or forming at United, with Chelsea expected to sign Garnacho, Rasmus Hojlund attracting offers or interest, I should say, from Milan. The United will have more money before September the 1st, and hopefully that could lead to the Baleba transfer. Now, I've spoken about that extensively on this channel over the last week or so. I think I did it on Sunday from this very kitchen, saying the sort of plan is that we sell these players and we try and use that money for Carlos Baleba. I think now we have got a little bit more focused when the Donnarumma and the goalkeeper situation has become clearer. It does seem like that isn't even a thing. Like the goalkeeper situation anyway felt a little bit speculative. Do you remember when it was Emi Martinez won it about 2 months ago? Oh, Emi Martinez is going to come to Manchester United and all the rest of it. And you think, okay, but apparently he was going to cost us about 30 million, I think it was. Plus he's a bit of a liability. So was there anything in that? Then it became this Donnarumma thing, which I never really bought into. I used to say, of all the things that isn't going to happen most, or other things that isn't going to happen, this isn't going to happen the most, then it wouldn't go away. And I kept saying, actually, this isn't going away. Now it's gone away. It looks like he's heading to Manchester City. Ian Case says more likes, please. So it does feel as though there isn't several transfers that United are working on that in terms of incomings. There isn't, we want to get a midfielder and then a goalkeeper or anything. It just feels like it's all about Carlos Baleba. And that gives me a little bit of confidence that this is why we can get that deal done. I think if Manchester United are zoning in on this player, we know that he wants to come to the club. We know what the fee roughly is going to be and what we need to do to get there. I think it's doable. Let me know what you think. Rock, love this, says John O'Shea is the keeper we need. John Shields says Brighton are losing Matt O'Reilly now as well. Different type of midfielder, I know, but surely they can't afford to lose Baleba too. I would expect if they get a massive amount of money for Carlos Baleba, they would reinvest it. I reckon they've already got targets. I'm not saying they're already planning for life without Carlos Baleba, but I reckon they've already got midfield targets. And if you get, I don't know, I think it's going to be closer to 80 million for Carlos Baleba from Manchester United, then you can use that money to go out and get one of the targets you're probably already looking at, or one of the lists you've got, because Brighton's scouting network is very good, very effective. You look at the players they've had over the years. They always bring in top quality players and they sell them for usually a massive profit as well. The record at Brighton, I think if you go in and sort of, well, you look at it, is if you had there, was it Trossard, Basuma, Casado, was he was the guy that lad that McAllister. They've had a few, haven't they? Like, and they've still got some quality players there as well. Danny Welbeck's at Bayern, don't forget, and he's one of the best players ever. Stephen Griffiths in the chat. Aaron Blaney says, love how we are doing transfers, making sure players want to come first. That is what we're doing. So we're not going to go into a situation where we go for a bidding war or we go into sort of negotiation with the club. We get to a place where the club are happy and then the player don't want to come. Anyone remember the Frankie de Jong saga? What went on there where it was like Barcelona were accepting bids from Manchester United and everyone was like, well, surely the player will want to come. He's played for Erik ten Hag at Ajax. He's not even that wanted by Barcelona anymore. It seems like this deal is going to get done, and I thought it was going to. However, the player had no intention of leaving the new camp. He didn't want to come to Manchester United. He wanted the money that Barcelona owed him, and he wanted to stay there and fight for his place because he's already in the team, but he still wanted to stay there and just basically try and make a success of his time at Barcelona. And fair play to him. I'm not actually that gutted we didn't get Frankie de Jong. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. I like this. FFF focused or FF focused. VODs says, can't we just find out who Brighton are going to replace Baleba with and buy him? I like that idea. And we've spoken about this in the past on the channel. But there was a time when we were linked with Moses Caicedo before he went to Brighton and people saying we should have done that. But I think sometimes players need to go to a smaller Premier League club before they come to Manchester United. I think if Rasmus Hojlund had have gone to someone like Brighton, we might be having a different conversation with him in terms of his future and in terms of what he'd done. He might have been all right. He might have been a good player for Manchester United had he gone from Atlanta to Brighton. I mean, you're right. I mean, he might have cost a lot more, but that could have worked. Whereas when you get thrown in the deep end at Manchester United, the expectation is there, the pressure is there, just the size of the club is just huge. And some players really struggle with it. Most players post Alex Ferguson have struggled with it, to be honest with you. It's only until recently we've started getting it right. I think Bruno Fernandes has been a success. And then you look at one or two others as well. We've had successful signings, but not that many. I'm hoping that this current crop under Ineos are going to be a lot more consistent. Let's talk about Rasmus Hojlund. In fact, before we talk about Rasmus Hojlund, let me get in some of the comments because I've not read enough comments from you lot. Kevin Aitchen says, is it worth looking at buying Baleba now and loaning back to Brighton for the season? Could that help the price? Right. There's two things I'll say to that. One, that isn't the craziest idea I've ever heard because at least then you get the player. And part of my worry about waiting until next summer is next summer, other clubs could be in for him and Manchester United could be priced out for him. So that takes that away from it. You go, well, we don't need to worry about next summer because next summer he's going to be at Manchester United and we've got him. The issue is you're going to end up spending a lot of money on Baleba and not having him straight away. Which also means you're not going to be able to go out and buy another midfielder. So you're going to have to go a year with the midfield you've got, which isn't the worst case scenario, but it's not ideal. So if you go out and you spend, say, 80 million quid and you don't get the player for another year, that is a difficult one in it to take, difficult one to sort of to sell to the fans and to maybe even to the manager, because if he'll want that player in immediately if you've bought him. I get it, though. I get where you're coming from, Kev, because the idea then is at least you've got him long term. Whereas one of my worries is if we don't sign him this summer, we wait till next summer, who knows who could be in for him next summer? Liverpool might decide, you know what, we could really do with Carlos Baleba in our team. City might decide that actually he fits in this system, or he could play either alongside Rodri, or Rodri hasn't been the player we thought he was going to be returning from injury. He's still got injury issues. Let's go out and get Baleba. So I do get that idea. I'm not overly keen on it. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, Cjo James. John says, no, Ruben will need him. Ayash Varma says, Brighton's reason for holding out till next summer is to maximise his value. They can't do that with a buy and loan back. Yeah, they want the top back, don't they? We just need him now, don't we? We just do. Cheyenne Rastega says, Sunday, United 4, Arsenal 1. T Mills says, he's worth the money, Jay. His highlights screams improved midfield. I'm always wary of highlight reels, but I will give you this one, because his highlights do show, especially Premier League as well. You can see what he's about. the stats don't lie. I think some of his numbers are just phenomenal, and also when you watch him, you can just see what a quality player he is. So yeah, I'm massively excited at the prospects of buying Baleba. Sorry, but just we need to make it happen. Shows Ski says, just imagine the partnership between him and Cobby in 3 to 5 years. Potential up the roof. Yes, I agree. I think that would be one of the best midfielders, or be best midfields, I should say, in the world in the future. So yeah, I'm all about that. Let's have a look what Fabrizio Romano was saying about Rasmus Hojlund. So it says, he tweeted an hour ago, AC Milan keep advancing on Rasmus Hojlund deal with Man United. Talks ongoing on player side to discuss the project as Hojlund is opening doors to AC Milan. €6 million loan fee, €45 million buy option clause, and salary covered. Details revealed last week. Agreement closer. So it does feel as though something is happening there with that one. As always, we will keep you posted and let you know when it does happen, and if indeed it does. Let me know what you think about that. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Are you concerned that if Hojlund goes, we're going to be a little bit short up front, even with Benjamin Sesko coming in? Or do you think that Joshua Zirkzee can do a job if he needs to step up? Chido Obi can do a job if he needs to step up? Yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Neeks says, was going to super chat the Baleba loan question myself. Have a mega day. United 5, Arsenal 0. Love that. Dan United 94 says, morning, me old mate Jay. I'm in my kitchen. Motty. Yep, I'll take that one. Adam Kenny says, Joe would suck their hand off for that deal. I think that might be a reference to, was it Premier League piss take? Yep. Nick says, we need depth. Keep Hojlund. He actually wants to be here. Kevin Aitchison says, I'd like a big sell-on percentage on any Hojlund sale. I think that's important. The sell-on fees and sell-on percentages have been massive for Manchester United this summer. We haven't brought in like a fortune from him, but we got some on the Elanga deal. We got some on the Oduedi deal. We got some on the Elanga deal. I've already said Elanga. I don't even know what I'm doing. Alvaro Carrera's deal. So it has helped. It has helped with Manchester United's transfer budget, but you know, we need to start selling players, don't we? And it looks like Garnacho is going to be the one out the door. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Do you think Manchester United should sell Rasmus Hojlund? Do you think that a loan is okay, or do you want to see us get a permanent move? Let me know what you think. So Marcus Rashford, I think he's been doing has he done a podcast? So yeah, he's been on the Rest is Football podcast with Gary Lineker. Who else is on that one? Let's have a look. I just hang on a minute. Well, it doesn't really matter who else is on it. He's been chatting on there, and there's a few quotes that have sort of come out here. Sorry, I'm just looking at all the different quotes, and I'm just trying to sort of work out which ones are worth sort of letting see. Talking about, there's a headline here that he says Manchester United have found themselves in no man's land and can't expect to win the league. I think is a quote that's come out of it. I don't want to I want to be a bit careful with some of these quotes, because you end up doing is like, you saw it when Nathan Salt came on, didn't he? He said that he used part of a quote and then everyone was sort of laying into him because it wasn't the full quote. Let me just have a look. Oh yeah, it's Michael Richards is the one. Rashford said, show me a successful team that just adapts. When Fergie was in charge, not only the principles for the first team, the whole academy set up so you could pick players from 15 years and over. That's a full generation, and they'd all understand the principles of playing the Manchester United way, right? You see it with any team that's been successful over a period of time. They have principles that any coach that comes in, any player that comes in, has to align to these principles or be able to add to these principles. Whereas at times, I feel like United have just been, we're hungry to win, so we'll always try to adapt and to sign players that fit this system, but it's reactionary. If your direction's always changing, you can't expect to be able to win the league. Yeah, you might win some cup tournaments, but it's because you do have a good coach and you do have good players and you have match winners in your team. You're not there by accident. This is what some people forget. So yeah, we've been way below where we deem United to be. But then if you take a step back, which I've been able to do, especially over the last 6 months, what do you expect? People say we've been in transition for years. To be in transition, you have to start the transition. So it's like the actual transition's not started yet. Look, whatever Marcus Rashford says is going to upset a lot of people. What I would say about Marcus is it saddens me that he couldn't pull his socks up and work under Ruben Amorim, give Ruben Amorim the level of dedication and professionalism that he obviously wanted to see from Marcus Rashford. There's no denying or ignoring the fact that Marcus Rashford was playing for Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, and then he was dropped from the team because of his actions off the pitch and perhaps not applying himself in training. So I've not got too much sympathy with Marcus Rashford on that front. However, I don't think, as some people do, that he's, he's rubbish and he's never been any good for United. He scored a lot of goals for United. He scored over 100 goals for United and won trophies. I'm just annoyed at the fact that he couldn't do what Ruben Amorim wanted him to do, because I think actually he could have been a part of this team, a part of this system, and help Manchester United get back to the very things he's talking about, get back to winning titles and getting in the Champions League and challenging for the Champions League. But he wasn't up for that for whatever reason. And now I think, despite having, quoting him and listening to what he's got to say, I do feel like as a club and as a team, we do have to move on from Marcus Rashford. And if you look at the front three we've got now, Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, and Benjamin Sesko, I think it's not too shabby. Yes, we could use Marcus Rashford, but we haven't got him. We have got 3 fantastic forwards, so we're going to be okay. Stephanie Griffith says 300 likes next. Yep. What's this? Someone mentioning Donnarumma. It's going to City in it. Let's have a look at the latest with Donnarumma. Thought that was like, is that not like a done deal? So yeah, it looks like people are saying that he's got to Manchester City. I'm not surprised. I didn't really feel like we were in for him. He's still only young. I know they've got Edison, but it looks like they might be getting rid of him. So Donnarumma to City. It's one of those transfers that, did you really think deep down that was going to happen? I know some people sort of talking about it, and I did say I think it had gone up from a 0, so I think they'd give it a 4 out of 10 if I was to do a transfer rating, but I never felt confident we were going to get Donnarumma. Jay, any news on the Freedom Wanker leaving yet? It's sad, isn't it? That when we say Freedom Wanker, we know who we mean. We mean Jadon Sancho, a signing that, if you remember, about 5 years ago, I was outside Old Trafford talking about him more or less every day, because it was like that was the main transfer story. But he's obviously not worked out at Manchester United. Looks like he is going to go. We don't quite know where yet. He was linked with Roma. He's been linked with Besiktas. Other Italian clubs looking at him. I just thought we can get some decent dough for him. David Ornstein tweeted, exclusive, Leeds United reach agreement in principle to sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There was talk and suggestions that he could be coming to Old Trafford. Those suggestions sort of died down, didn't they, when we bought Benjamin Sesko? Some saying, though, why not get both? Why not get Dominic Calvert-Lewin as a bit of an experienced backup to Benjamin Sesko? I understand that argument. I get it. I'm not going to lose any sleep that we didn't get Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And also, if he wants to go to Leeds, he's dead to me. Jacoya Trot says, in the end, you were right, Jay. Trust your gut. Very good advice. I think there's a bit of a debate going on about how much Baleba is worth, how much you're going to pay for him. 2 words, installments. That's what United needs to do. We're going to get Carlos Baleba. Yes, we might have to pay a bit more, but if we can spread those payments out, maybe that can work better for us. We have got this rolling credit facility. We have got players that we can sell. We have got players we can get off the wage bill as well. There should be a way of making this deal happen. Hopefully, we can get it done sooner rather than later. Real recognized. Real says, Steve was saying we should get Dominic Calvert-Lewin the other day. So glad we aren't. Look, I get Steve's point. I'm not going to say I completely agreed with it, but I understood it. Having a backup striker like Dominic Calvert-Lewin when you've got a first-choice striker, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard, because obviously he's got that experience and he's only going to be playing a handful of games. And how many strikers are you going to get who are actually at their very peak, who are going to be willing to sit on the bench? And I know Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is 28, so you could go, well, he is kind of at his peak in terms of his age. But let's not kid ourselves. His peak was about 4 years ago. So I think it's one of those. It makes sense that he's gone to Leeds, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. We're going to be back later on today. We've got the videos coming thick and fast. You've got Uncensored with Makola and Joe. You've got Agree or Disagree with myself, Joe, Lauren and Chels. You've got Transfers Live later on tonight. So that's going to be around 10 o'clock this evening. So if you're not doing so already, make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget as well to give us a like, and got some big announcement coming this week when it comes to our merchandise. One of the 2 of you have noticed some of the hoodies and the t-shirts that we've been wearing. Watch this space. That's all I'm going to say. I'm Jay Motty. This has been a Paper Talk from a pretty sunny Salford. Thanks for watching.